visited the place where it all happened.
The March of Graduates. It's a walk many women take for granted, but not the students of Wesleyan College in Macon, Georgia.
We're here today to celebrate role models, to celebrate women who break new ground.
It was here at Wesleyan in 1840, 150 years ago, that Catherine Brewer Benson, along with her 10 classmates, became the first women in the world to receive college degrees. It was a privilege men had already enjoyed for almost 200 years.
There were no prior models. Remember, there were no mentors. No older sisters had gone on to college, or mothers who led the way.
The first graduates were told that the woman's sphere through education would enlarge, and it did. Suffrage, or the right to vote in the United States, followed 80 years later in 1920. Gladys Moss Powers was in Wesleyan's class of 1929.
We feel that we have more of a role in what goes on in the world and in encouraging other women.
Her daughter followed in her mother's footsteps 30 years later.
I think that it is passed not only from mother to daughter, but from one class to the next. There is a very strong sense of community within the classes at Wesleyan.
We are enfranchised, we are educated, we have to get out and find a job.
Classes here stress a tradition of change, a tradition that some students carry on beyond the classroom.
The 11 original graduates of Wesleyan served as role models for generations of women after them. Today, students here hope to follow that tradition of breaking new ground.
The first woman ever decorated by the Chinese government attended Wesleyan College. Mei Ling Sung married China's World War II leader, Chiang Kai-shek. In 1949, Chiang Kai-shek set up his nationalist government in Taiwan after Chinese communists took control of mainland China. Students from third world countries may face the biggest challenges after graduation.
And you grow up in an environment where you are supposed to be seen and not heard, to be the proper lady.
Renuma Lizzie Wahab hopes her years at Wesleyan will make a difference in her native Bangladesh.
Most of the women are not educated. The few that are in the cities. They're from a well-to-do family backgrounds and privileged classes.
But education at an all-women's college seems to give students the edge of confidence.
I'm sure of who I am and where I'm going with my career.
That confidence is the backbone of tradition here, the stuff of pioneers. Kirsten Tekula, CNN Newsroom, Macon, Georgia.
I fell in love with the campus on sight.
I came up for a campus visit, and once I got on campus, I realized that this was the place for me and that I belonged here more than anything.
My favorite thing about Wesleyan has to be the family atmosphere.
A sense of belonging, a sense of community. That's what you'll find at Wesleyan College.
It's like a family, and you're made to feel like you belong. You know your professors, you can sit there and talk to them face to face. And if you have a problem, they're happy to help you with it, whether it's a personal problem or with your schoolwork.
This kind of concern and caring for each individual is the keystone of life at Wesleyan. Here you find one faculty member for every 10 students. That translates into small classes. Each young woman can develop her own opinion and speak her own mind. With that kind of freedom, it's not unusual for Wesleyan women to become leaders in the classroom and in campus organizations.
So it's expectation. What else? Other characteristics.
It's also written during a time of crisis.
All right. Crisis, key word. What does that mean?
Well, at this
the learning event is one that comes out of community. My classroom is not the center of their world. It's not the center of my world. It's only a part of the world. And if I'm not interested in them at the president's house or at graduation or at other forums where ideas, then it seems as though that I think somehow I have everything they need in my classroom, but I don't want to be a part of the rest of their worlds. And that's just not true. I learn as much, if not more, from them outside my classroom. And I would dare say they learn as much, if not more, from me when I'm outside my classroom.
He was talking about in plays how absurd it is to show tragedy and...
I like being at a small college. I have taught at various other institutions, and this is very appealing to me because you get to know the students very well. You become friends with them. The closeness that the faculty has with the students here, I think, can't be duplicated at a large institution. And it's not just the smallness, it's the atmosphere and the spirit of camaraderie that I think faculty and students share alike.
That closeness is enhanced by the opportunity for one-on-one instruction.
They get a lot of personal attention. If you really would like to feel that you have a great place in the professor's heart, then come here, because that's what we're all about, really. We're small, we're proud of it, we make it into a big plus.
Wesleyan College is located in the city of Macon, in the heart of central Georgia, a convenient southeastern location, only a 90-minute drive from Atlanta. Of course, it was a much longer trip when Wesleyan first opened its doors more than 150 years ago. Affiliated with the United Methodist Church, Wesleyan became the first college in the world chartered to grant degrees to women. A great tradition was born, and that tradition of excellence in education continues today. Wesleyan is consistently listed by U.S. News and World Report as one of the most outstanding regional liberal arts colleges.
It is very challenging. It demands a great deal from you. However, it is far from impossible. And you have so many support systems, from teaching assistants and professors to other peer individuals and students who help you in your academic areas to make sure that you will succeed in whatever class or major you're interested in. So it's challenging, but at the same time, it's not impossible. When you come to Wesleyan, as with other things, you get out of Wesleyan what you put into it. And with the academic areas, it's the same thing. You put in time and energy and effort. You work very hard. You go to professors outside of class to get more instruction, to understand things a little better. You attend seminars and other things. It's so important to put that time in, because that is the only way to get out of it what you put into it.
One of the most significant advantages of a Wesleyan education is the importance placed on internships offered across all academic disciplines.
My sophomore year, I was an intern at Charter Northside Hospital. Right now, I'm an intern at Mercer Medical School, and I'm working with a medical researcher as his assistant. Having had this opportunity to, for one, be sure that this is what I want to do, and for another, get my hands into it and get some experience, it gives me the edge.
This is another hands-on experience at Wesleyan. The first day that a student arrives, she finds a computer waiting for her.
Computers are wonderful. I love my Mac. I got one as soon as I was here. It was set up in my room when I got here, and I was scared to touch it the first week. But once I did, I realized I don't know how I survived without it.
Using the best of technology to create a vision of tomorrow. That's part of the emphasis at Wesleyan. But anyone who spends time on campus realizes that there's something else here that helps to foster those dreams of tomorrow. That something is the link to Wesleyan's history, to the traditions which are part of the college. For almost 100 years, Stunt Night at Wesleyan has fostered class competition and raised scholarship funds.
Class cheers, that's to get spirit together.
The fountain is a big tradition. We have pep rallies around it, which are really fun. And then the good old tradition of being thrown in the fountain if your birthday happens to fall anytime during the year.
You can tell as soon as you pull on campus that there's a lot of history here. It's an old campus, and there are a lot of traditions.
Wesleyan has a very, very strong academic tradition, and I think it's important to be recognized for your academic contribution to Wesleyan. And I think that's what the honors banquet is, where the faculty and the students get together and celebrate the end of the year and celebrate academic excellence.
The honor code is just where you are bound as a Wesleyan to tell the truth no matter what.
Here, teachers will leave the room while you take tests, and they trust you not to cheat, and that makes me feel good that they trust me enough and that I'm responsible enough to do that without having to be supervised.
The traditions of Wesleyan build spirit, foster a sense of sisterhood, and impart important values. They are the spiritual, yet very tangible connections to Wesleyan's history of educating women and producing future leaders.
The fact that generations of women came from this school who became leaders in their community fits actually very well with the modern concept that women will leave here and join businesses and become physicians and attorneys. It's a new era, but it's actually consonant with the history of the place.
From the very first class that graduated in 1840, I've had family connected with the school, on through cousins, a great-great-great-grandmother, my own mother, myself, and one daughter who has graduated and another who is a junior now. Being allowed the privilege of teaching at this college is a real high for me. The academic program is strong. I think a Wesleyan degree will stand up against anybody's anywhere. When you graduate from here, you've got more than a sheepskin or a piece of paper. You've got an education.
And an education at Wesleyan extends beyond the classroom into the world.
I spent a year at the International Christian University in Tokyo, and while I was there, I participated in the Japan Studies program, which means that mostly I was taking intensive Japanese language classes, but also I had the opportunity to take Japanese literature, Japanese art, archaeology.
Wesleyan's reputation also brings students from around the world to Macon, Georgia. They add a special dimension to the classroom experience and to life in Wesleyan's residence halls.
Well, I think dorm life is one of the neatest things at Wesleyan because it is such a small school. It's just a neat atmosphere to live in like that with so many close friends. It's like having a lot of sisters.
I have had people come here that have been to other colleges, and they open my door and go in my room and say, wow, this is great.
Doors are open at all times. Come on in, pull up a chair, sit down, gossip a little. And so I never thought it would be this much fun. Never. I don't want to move anywhere. I don't want to go home.
When you come in as a freshman, you automatically get a big sister who's in the junior class, and she stays with you until you're a junior, and then you get a little sister. Lizzie's my big sister. She's from Bangladesh, and she has opened me up to a whole new world.
A new student at Wesleyan also gets help and advice from an academic advisor who assists with selecting courses, choosing majors, and preparing for professional or graduate school programs. There are also students known as peer counselors who smooth the way and ease students into college life.
Would you like to check in so you can get your name tag and start working on that? Okay.
Well, when I first got here, that was really neat to me because my peer counselor was the first person I met. And she was just wonderful. She showed me all over the campus, and she took me to the places I needed to be, and she told us all those dumb things that we were afraid to ask in front of the whole group, and it just really made me feel more comfortable and welcome.
It also helps when parents can feel that their daughter is in a safe and secure environment.
I like to go to the library late at night. It's not a very long way, but I still feel so safe, and there's always campus security. You can call them if you want to and have them meet you along the way, but I don't feel like I need to do that. I feel just as safe walking anywhere.
And there are a lot of places to walk to across Wesleyan's 200-acre campus. The stately Georgian-style buildings are close together, which promotes a spirit of community. In contrast, there are beautiful wooded areas and a lake, plenty of room for enjoying some privacy or being with friends. The Anderson Dining Hall is a favorite place for eating and socializing. A snack bar, complete with jukebox, offers a more casual atmosphere. And the newly restored Dice R. Anderson cabin provides an informal setting for student gatherings. Plus, There are facilities to suit nearly every type of activity. Tennis courts, an indoor pool, the Porter Gymnasium, a soccer field, and a top-flight equestrian center.
We do have the competitiveness of the intercollegiate, but we also have, lots of things on campus so that if they're not necessarily real athletic, they can still join in, have fun, and be needed as a team.
First for women. It's been that way since the very first class graduated from Wesleyan College, beginning that tradition of excellence. It's a legacy that's been handed down, giving young women a chance to be challenged, to learn, and to begin to realize their dreams of tomorrow.
I see young women going from the state of sort of insecure, fledgling girls emerging into confident young women who are ready to take on the world by the time they graduate. And it's, I think, at Wesleyan, a process that it's very carefully nurtured.
Wesleyan gives everyone an opportunity to be whatever in the world they want to be.
Wesleyan is in the process of taking women very seriously and telling women that they can do with their lives what they want to do. That's the most wonderful thing we offer.
Wesleyan is really academically sound. It's a good place to be if you want to mature. It's a good place to be if you want to have fun. And lastly, I think Wesleyan is just outstanding as a place to grow. Wesleyan is just great.